All right, here we go. One of SoundCloud's most rising artists, Castor. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you for coming by to the Lens of Yashu.
Thanks for having me.
It's dope. That's dope. And it's actually like an interesting experience because you also checked out some other stuff after I did my interview with Ever Got Lost, and you recommended, like, you showed me your link, and the music that I've seen so far, that I've heard so far too. It's very like interesting in the sense too, with the lo-fi sounds and also with the old music with your trap stuff.
Thank you, man.
True,
Uh,
true.
Dude, it's like uh, originally I was making lo-fi music at first, so I guess in a way it still kind of has a special place in my heart. So it's like when I make something, it's more something I can relate to, and I think people can relate to.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I want to start off with the first question. So you grew up in Las Vegas. Was there like ever any inspiration from there that made you want to pursue more in the music scene?
Well, I actually grew up in Turlock, California, but being in Las Vegas, it's pretty cool. It's, I don't really know. There's not too many artists that I know from here. I don't really know anybody actually, but so far, meeting the people that I met, Turlock, Geo, Too Nice, Big Cake, a lot of other people and punks and stuff, man, October's, uh, Nickel Team, et cetera, bro, all of them, they grew on me over the course of time, and they showed me that I could make different music in a way, that I didn't have to do the same sound over and over again.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And I know that you said you're from California, but you recently moved to Las Vegas.
Hmm.
So like Las Vegas, like there's like many like notable acts sort of there like on the scene too, but like not as like big or as like relevant. Like you have like Dizzy Wright, you have futuristic DJ Hoppa. So I guess within the Las Vegas scene, it's kind of like limited in a sense, or
I mean, due to COVID, bro, of course, yeah, everything's been pretty limited, but nobody's really performing, nobody's doing anything right now, so it's a little hard to get the name out, kind of get any buzz going.
true, true. And so growing up, what was like your musical history and background like, and what inspired you to become like a rapper and musician?
Man, I listened to a lot of Michael Jackson when I was a kid. I don't know what it was, dude. I was all over the place. As I got older, I listened to a bunch of different music from Lil Dedex to Lil Uzi Vert. Uh, just kind of like not too many mainstream rappers, but I listened to a lot of other artists that kind of piqued my interest in things that I was into. Uh, Definitely, I wouldn't say trap song. I'd just say it's kind of like a different. Uh, what I'm not sure what I could call it, but more or less, I don't. I'm not more of a. I'm not really a trap rapper. Yeah, it uh, doesn't seem like it suits me. Not something I can really relate to doing. That wasn't my lifestyle, dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. I grew up hanging around, I guess you could say, people that wanted me to be better than that. They didn't ever want me to be that kind of guy because they saw that I like playing basketball, I like doing sports, man. And even so, after I stopped doing that, I was really into music after my friend Steven had kind of been getting me to freestyle a lot, man. It was, I don't know, it felt cool at first. And then when I started making music on my own, I realized I liked doing it. It was cool because I saw people were vibing to it, and I saw that it was making my mom, smile and stuff. I don't know. I guess it was just something cool to me, and it just became more of a passion throughout the years. I've been doing it for about 5 years now, man.
It seems like like a very like interesting like experience too, because within the transition of your music from starting off with music and then going on to like other genres, like it kind of develops your growth as like an artist in a way too. And I even like explained this with Ever Got Lost on, transitioning within like your music and not just going on like with one sound too. And it's important to like be influenced by like a lot of other like genres as well too. So some people, they might be considered trap to one person, but to them they might be anti-pop or alternative music and or like other like certain genres that might be suitable for them in a sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, that's a lot. That's a lot. It's weird trying to transition every now and then because it's more of it's a sound that you're looking for, especially when I'm just working on something, I guess, or if I'm looking for something that inspires me to make a song. Nowadays, it's like I kind of listen to more of the same artists still, but I listen to the Kid Leroy, I listen to Juice World, I listen to Trippie Redd. I don't know, but it's more melodic to me. To me, uh, I like the way a certain beat sounds because I kind of got a thing for guitar based beats, bro. They just sound pretty nice. And when it comes to lo-fi beats, bro, it's like I'm very picky about that because it's got to reflect something that I'm feeling at the time, especially. Like
Definitely.
Mosh Pit, man, that was one of my most recent songs. I had found that beat because I was looking for more of like a bedtime, not even bedtime, like a bedroom vibe that you could just listen to whenever you wanted. It's like you want to be at home and just rage, bro. You could listen to that song and have fun and go at it, or whatever, something. Just, I realize I got to make music that isn't kind of chill all the time and show people that whenever I want to get hyped, man, I can do it.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that you said that growing up, like your influences are usually based on like Michael Jackson and like Lil Wayne, and you've also listened to like X, Trippy, Juice World, and like Kid Leroy. Would you consider them like your influences and such? And in the future, do you have like any artists that you would like to work with someday if you do tend to become like more bigger in a sense?
I mean, yeah, of course, there's always artists I would love to work with. I'm gonna be one, bro. It's just, I don't know. I wouldn't say that they're too much of an inspiration for me anymore. I guess it's more of I try to take life life things around me, like whatever I'm looking at or whatever. And sometimes I kind of imagine a scenario and I write with that because I want to be able to still get my point across, but also I don't know, also still have fun with it. You don't want to try to force a song. If it's not there, uh, you can't sit there and try to push the idea. I don't know. You gotta wait on it sometimes, or it's better to ask other people for advice. Kind of open your perspective a little bit. My uncle was a very great example, bro. He's been in music for as long as I've been alive, dude. That man has made music forever. But getting to hear his experiences and learn how he kind of works on his music, how he developed his sound, it was kind of mind changing. Yeah, it was mind changing because it left me a little left me a little confused for a minute, bro. Because I didn't know what I was gonna do next. I didn't know where my sound was gonna go. Still to this day, I'm still trying to figure that out. I want to figure out who Castor is, bro. Like before I can even go anywhere else, I gotta figure out who Castor is. And the best way to do that is kind of just experiment and then see what style sticks with me for a minute and then transition.
Doubt, no doubt. And your uncle, he was more into like what type of musician was he, or like what role in music did he
Uh,
actually pursue
my
in?
uncle was a rapper also.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
he has his own album too, man. It's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like you said, some of the future artists I would love to work with. Uh, Obviously, I would like to continue working with GOT Nice and everyone on Wi-Fi. I'd like to continue working with Punk no matter what. Those are my guys, bro. You know, uh, any new artists? Yeah, of course. I'd always love to work with somebody, man. It's just it's a feeling that you don't get too often. You get to see another person's creativity. You get to see them I don't know, you get to see them at their best, or you know, you get to see them do something they like, and you build a bond, and you guys just, you grow from there.
Oh, no doubt too. And just to speak forth on knowing about Castor and letting the audience know who Castor is. So, if you were to describe to people who've never listened to your music before, how would you describe it in that sense? And what songs like would you recommend to people who want to listen to you for the first time?
Man, I would not recommend Run. I mean, I get it, it's a good song, but I don't sound like that now. And it was me when I was really starting music for the first time. Um, I would probably recommend if uh, wow, Project One. That's a really good song. Project One. I'd recommend hmm, Hypnotize. That's a really good song. And Low Key. Oh man, those three are like those are my best songs. To me personally, I love those songs a lot. Um, and I just say if you like it, you like it. If not, then you don't. It's always your opinion. It's whatever. So I let them build their opinion based on what they hear. And if they like it, hey man, you can listen to it whenever it's on there.
Oh, no doubt. Because I know usually with a lot of people who are starting off in music or are currently in music too, some people like they might not hear like the music before, so they want to get like a good analysis of like how people do tend to listen to music and how they try to become fans too. It's pretty interesting on like what you've responded so far too. I know others would tend to say like listen to like everything as well too, but like it's also important to realize that not every song is needed to be recommended because it can come from like a transitional phase or a different style that might either seem like corny or that might not be like up to date in a sense too. And just hearing your explanation on Run, it kind of like made like sense from there because you were going through a musical phase on how you were to start off as an artist as well too. So yeah.
Man, I wish I still had Say out there. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That was well, actually, it wasn't really a song for me, but in a way, it was a good song, you know. But shout out to my boy K Dot, man. No cap, that was his inspiration for the song, and I respect him to this day, dude. 'Cause that man has got it. That man has really got it. He's another good artist that I would definitely want to work with again. I'm sorry if I was late on that. Um, hmm,
True.
I really appreciate you having me here, man. It was really cool.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Likewise, it's great to communicate with new and upcoming artists and like hear about their stories as well, and hear about like their backgrounds and their experience so far too. And looking into the creative process in making music, do you have like a creative process when you work on making music? And what would a day in making music would be like for you, like if you were like about to like record and such?
Yeah. My creative process, dude. I'd say it involves a lot of beat searching. Yeah. For now, I haven't had the opportunity to make my own beats. I guess I'm not really good with that sort of thing. So for a while, I've been kind of a YouTube beat guy. Not really a good thing, but yeah, it is what it is every now and then. But I have a couple of friends that have been pretty supportive making beats for me, and that was it was a while ago, but I really appreciate them for that, man. 'Cause it worked, like it really worked for me. They were really good melodies, and they like I said, bro, they reflected what I was thinking at the time, and it felt like a flow. perfectly fit that beat. Because I've had beats that I made songs to, and it didn't sound right, and then I found another beat, and that song fit. Because you can't always pick the first one here. So I say a day recording with me is just kind of chilling, trying to figure out whatever vibe we're feeling that day, especially if it's something serious or something about an experience or whatever. It's always something new. No matter what it is, it's always something new. I don't want to be that guy who's repeating the same thing I said in the last song. You know, nah, it's always got to be something fresh. Um, I will say, being a songwriter has its ups and downs. There are days when it's a little stressful to write, and then there are days when it feels like you've got it all the time, but it's just it doesn't work like that. I've seen it in other interviews where they talk about having other people write songs for you. Uh, Personally, me, I've had help writing songs from other people. I won't ever say that I do it myself all the time, but a good portion of the time, yeah, I do write most of my songs. I write pretty much all of my songs, just about. But I appreciate the help that I had got along the way, no matter what. I didn't do it alone though. And somebody had to put that bug in my ear to help get me through the rest of the process. Because you can always get a writer's block, bro. And it's never a good thing. But it kind of kills the mood. It kills the mood big time.
No, yeah. I know. I definitely know like what you mean too. I think with the idea of writer's block, even in all aspects too, especially in the creative process too, sometimes it takes a worthwhile process to make music, to be in that energy, to be in that atmosphere too. And I've seen it in various cases, even with big named artists like Uzi Vert, who wanted to make Eternal Atake the best project to ever be, and it took him up to like maybe like 3 years just to work on that project. With a whole lot of red, took 2 years to work on that project for Cardi, and even as artists as like underground as like Jay Electronica too, like he didn't drop his debut album until last year, and he's been in the game since like 2008 with the exhibit tracks that he has too. So the idea of making a song and having your creative process on there too, and just knowing what you want to say and knowing the experiences on how you do it as well, with incorporating the production, the engineering, and with everything else too. It's a worthwhile process. Sometimes for some artists it takes days, for some it takes years, and it's pretty evident as well, even with ghostwriting too. Some people don't make it big on their own until like maybe like 3 to 5 years, but like with ghostwriting, they'll be working on it like in a minute either way, and they could make a hit record from that.
Yeah, man, I watched this movie. It was called One Night in Miami. Uh, don't get me wrong, man. It was a really, really good movie, and it was kind of cool to hear about how uh, Sam Cooke, Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, and Malcolm X were all just chilling to celebrate his win, bro. But at the same time, they all had a talk that night that kind of like changed the perspective on things, and it was good. It was a good film, man. I recommend it highly. Just watch it and check it out, man. Um,
Definitely check it out.
yeah, man, that's about it right there.
True, true. Um, so when I was like listening to your music, I talked about the creative changes in your sound, and then like when I heard with the trap rattling beats of songs like Run and with other tracks as well, to it had like that whole like doo-wop Kane old Playboy Cardi type production, where it would be like the money counter like that you would hear, and then the 1-2 step type beat, and then it switched more to like more of an alternative like lo-fi sound. even with a bedroom
Yeah, man.
sound with like mosh pit. So tell me more about the creative change and what inspired you to make that change in your music going forward.
Uh, Man, for a while, Playboy Cardi beats are my favorite. I don't know why. You know, in all realness, I didn't listen to Playboy Cardi like that growing up. But as I got older, I kind of checked them out. It wasn't too bad. Uh, the transition has just been from people I've been around, um, things in my life. Certain experiences made me want to switch my style so I could get more serious, so I could say what I wanted to that time and not, you know, not feel so restricted. I don't know. Some of them were just experiments. A lot of them were me wanting to test the waters to see what could come out of it. Uh, I do, I do still like to make some Joey Badass type beat songs, bro. Don't get me wrong; those are some really, really fun songs to work on because they let me get into in this like zone, bro. And it's just like I try to think of what would Kendrick say, what would Joey say, what would X say? I don't know, man. What would somebody in this point in time be saying? What would somebody back then be saying? You know, because you know most artists aren't thinking like this nowadays. When I say like this, they aren't thinking with this specific beat. Or they're not thinking like, what would this artist be saying back in the '90s if they're working on this kind of track? There's a lot of artists that make trap music. Personally, you know, like I said, I'm a little iffy about it, but it doesn't really stray too far from my mind. But when I'm making something like that, man, I just want it to be nice. I want it to be something somebody can vibe to, somebody can relax to, or somebody could just be like, yeah, man, this is the shit, you know? There's so many different feelings for it. And it's just, that's that's where the fun comes in. I'll leave it at that.
No doubt, no doubt. And you know, it's interesting. It's even interesting too, especially with that transition as well. Even within the discussion of lo-fi, I talked with this Barry-based artist by the name of Kid Kame, and they explained about how lo-fi has like changed the game in like a various aspect as well, since
Mm-hmm.
it kind of was sort of like an underground thing until it became bigger than
Became a
ever
little
in
more
a sense too.
mainstream. Most
Yeah,
definitely, dude,
and
most definitely.
yeah, and
Lo-fi, such a vibe, bro, because it's great. It's good for the ears, man. It's good for the
yeah,
heart,
yeah.
especially when it's something that you're feeling at the time, bro, because you can float with it and you can relax. It feels like you're just vibing on a cloud, bro.
No doubt. And you know, I've noticed it like from, you know, going like I was like listening to this artist by the name of Pofu, who had a song called Deathbed, which is like I'll make a cup of coffee for your head from that sample too. And hearing that
You
song
interviewed
being
Benjamin?
played all over, Pofu, definitely check him out. He's an artist out of Vancouver who does more like lo-fi type rap. uh, it's good for the soul in a sense too. And he has worked with other artists like Blink 182 and I think Baby No Money, but and even like Shallow Dynasty as well, who was also sampled in like various songs from like XXX Tentacion.
Sir. Yes,
And
sir.
do you feel like it's getting more recognized now than ever before with those artists and others making creative music that is reaching to the masses in terms of like lo-fi?
Dude, of course. Of course. Imagine like imagine something you just listened to for first time, right? And then it just sticks with you and you're listening to it like 2 days later and you're like, man, I really love this song. Come to listen to it later. It's like a whole week has gone by and that song is still stuck with you. And it's just certain people have the knack for it. Certain people can make a song like that and it just sticks with you over time. Certain ones will grow, certain ones will fall, but it, you know, all in perspective. everybody's still gonna have a good time listening to it. Because no matter what, even if you get annoyed by it, you're probably gonna listen to it again in like a month or so, bro.
No
You're
doubt.
probably gonna listen to it again in a month or so, man.
And
And lo-fi deserves all the attention it's getting, no matter what any sort of new genre that people are making nowadays. It gets a lot of attention because people like to see something new. You know, you don't ever want to go. You don't want to go in there empty-handed or with the same thing somebody has already heard, because eventually it's just going to get repetitive and it's going to fall off on its own. And sometimes it's hard to make that big change. It really is. But when you do it, it's really cool, and it brings a whole new game into play, bro. And it's awesome.
and I can also say this too. I think with lo-fi music, it'll forever be timeless in a sense too, because when I had this one example where I was actually doing some research one day too, and I was like looking for music, to listen to for a bit too. So I was like listening to that song Pofu Deathbed, and I had that for the entire loop for like a 24-hour loop, and it just had like a great vibe in a sense too. I think just with the sampling and just with the intricate production, the guitar strumming, and everything else too, you can definitely feel that like lo-fi has an interesting vibe, an interesting like feel to just like soothe out, relax after like a long day at work or like a long day at school as well. And it's just kind of like my 2 points of even like that discussion as well.
That's good, man. That's good. I listened to Angel by XX and Bastion for the longest period of time. I don't know why. It had that melody, bro, and it stuck with me. It was so cool. And it was a vibe, man. I'm not gonna lie. I like songs that I can let my emotions out to, bro. There's never a day that somebody, isn't feeling some kind of way. And there's some songs that let you just express how you're feeling, especially if you can't say it sometimes. And Lo-fi is a great example. Lo-fi is definitely a great example.
No doubt, no doubt. And I think just to end off with the next couple questions, I know that since you said that you're based in like Las Vegas now, how exciting is it for you to live in a city like Las Vegas, where like there's like many casinos and like many forms of nightlife and
A lot of
everything else too?
possibilities, man.
Do you feel like Las Vegas is like totally different from like a resident's perspective as opposed to
Yeah,
like a tourist
most
perspective?
definitely. Like, it's new to me. I haven't even really been out like that. When I say out, bro, I haven't gone out to do what Las Vegas is. Not even what I say is, but like what Las Vegas has. Do anything Las Vegas really has. Last thing I got to do was go to Circus. It was like hang out with my cousin for his birthday, which was pretty cool. Not bad. We got to go on some rides, so it was fun. However, when the time does arise where I can go do something like that, I will definitely get on top of something like that and, you know, go as far as I can with it.
No doubt, no doubt. And I think just to end off the interview, I usually like ask this question for pretty much all of my like guests that do come by. So what are your plans for this year in terms of any music, other creative projects, and so forth? And do you have like any final words that you would like to say for any creative or any person like pursuing their dreams?
New music, most definitely. Probably won't be working on an album again anytime soon. But when I do, I definitely want it to be something that will have meaning, have meaning to me especially. I don't want to go in there and just start spitballing ideas. Um, for any artist out there, definitely just keep working hard and keep writing and writing and writing. You'll have bad songs, you'll have good songs, and eventually you'll find that style that suits you. You'll find your sound, and you'll fall in love with music like you wouldn't expect, man.
And